Good evening. The time now is 6:14 on May 8th, 2024. I would like to reconvene the City Council Successful Agency to the Westminster Redevelopment Agency meeting. Meeting to call to order. Roll call, please.
Mayor Nguyen.
I'm here.
Vice Mayor Ho. I'm here. Councilwoman Fan West. Councilmember Monzo.
Here.
Councilmember Nguyen.
I'm here.
Mayor, you have a quorum with Councilwoman Fan West absent.
Thank you. Next is salute to the flag by Vice Mayor Ho and invocation by Mayor Nguyen. Please stand.
Please stand and follow my lead.
Where's the vote?
Hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the invocation. Heavenly Father, we ask for your guidance as we meet tonight to conduct business of our city government. Help us keep in mind that we are here to serve the people of Westminster, and enable us to make our decisions so that we may do what is best for all of the citizens we represent. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you. Please be seated. I want to thank Vice Mayor Ho for the salute to the flag. Next is City Attorney closed session report, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. There were two items on the closed session agenda. There was discussion on each one. There was direction provided. There's nothing further to report on that. We do have two potential walk-on items. The first one is an issue that just very recently arose. It's a potential litigation item, and it's just something that I recently learned about. So I'm asking that you would agree to walk that item on. This is, again, a litigation.
Move to approve.
And we could do it at the end of the meeting.
Okay. It's going to be closed session. All right. Move to approve.
Second.
Second by Vice Mayor Ho. Roll call vote, please.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, a second made by Vice Mayor Ho to walk on a potential litigation item for closed session. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Okay, what is the second item, please?
Yeah, the second, there was another potential walk-on item that was presented. I believe Councilwoman West had wanted to walk an item on.
And what is that?
Yes.
I would ask her to clarify.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Councilmember West, you are.
Yes, thank you so much. So the walk-in item is basically the code of ethics for the council and mayor, how we should conduct each other. I just feel like it is important. Mr. Mayor, I think this item is important to walk on tonight to talk about it concerning the code of conduct. And I feel unsafe. And as elected official, I want us to be able to, council to discuss about it, the code of ethics. And that I ask that we follow through with it. So if that's good, that'll be great. And Mr. Vice Mayor Nam Quang, would you, do you have anything, since you're my second?
Oh, I already seconded.
No, he's my second walking in. I mean, he wants to say something.
Okay.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I think because this is related to the concern about the safety of one of our council members, and then I would like you to allow her to walk on the item.
Honestly, I don't think that is important enough that we have to rush this item in. We have a long meeting today starting at 3 o'clock. It's going to be, I don't know when it's going to be ended, the next meeting, at the end of the meeting here. We also have another item walk on already at the end of the meeting for the closed session. I don't see why we have to rush to get this item in. I'm okay for us to bring it in for the next meeting. But it's up to the council. We do have the motion and the second on the floor. Roll call vote, please.
So for clarification, I have a motion made by Councilwoman Fan West and a second made by Councilmember Bonzo. And this is to walk on the item requested by Councilwoman Fan West. So I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West?
Yes.
Councilmember Bonzo?
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho?
May I go last?
Mayor
You already
Nguyen?
have three.
No.
Vice Mayor Ho?
You know what? There isn't a rush. I believe that it's going to be a very long night if we walk on this item that is not a that's not an urgency.
Okay.
So my answer is no.
I would like to change my vote to no.
Okay, so we need to have 4 votes in order to have it passed.
Correct.
A motion failed 2-3.
All right, thank you. Next is export communication. Do we have any from the council? I see none. Next is the city clerk report. Madam Clerk.
Mayor, I have no report tonight.
So Public Works. As I read the proclamation earlier, so now this is the time that on behalf of the city staff and city council, we would like to present it to the Public Works as a proclamation National Public Works Week. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Thank you for this proclamation. This means a lot to us. On behalf of the men and women, the Public Works team, I'm very honored to receive this, and they are dedicated employees who work very hard to maintain the city infrastructure and provide the best services to our community. With this opportunity, I would like to invite everybody to come and attend our 3rd annual open house, Public Works open house on May 18 from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. And it's at a Corporation Yard at 14381 Olive Street. It's right at the corner of Olive and Maple. So with this event, the residents will have an opportunity to learn what we do, what type of services that we provide, and to know about, this awesome Public Works members right here. But thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council member for your continuous support of Public Works. And I would like to take this opportunity to thank the men and the women that always, put themselves out there every day, make the cities better. Thank you.
Once again, put that big hand for them. Thank you, each and every one of you. Please come out on the May 18, right? May 18 at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. Because in the last couple of years, I noticed that not many people show up to support them. So this year, please invite your family members and your friends, your neighbors to come out. They put up this event for us so that we can learn what they do and they can continue to provide support to the community. So again, thank you for being here with us today.
I just want to say, well, this is how you get them to come, is that you let everybody know there's going to be really great hot dogs, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you didn't mention food, but there's going to be plenty of food, and I love their hot dogs. I always love the get-together. It's kind of a get-together with all the Public Works men and women, and thank you so much for your dedication. And ever since we have you on board as the leader of Public Works, we feel that you've accomplished a lot, and thank you so much. And thank you, all of you. Wow. And how many of you all together?
A total full-time and part-time, we have about 75 members.
I wish all of you could be here, but maybe we'll see you there on the 18th.
Have a long day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Jake, you have an amazing team. Thank you for all your hard work. They're the one that fixed the potholes, the trees, the streets. They are the man and the woman of the hour. So thank you guys for all you guys do. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, Jake. Thank you for your team, what all you do. From what I understand, the Public Works is one of the first departments to get when you get a city started, is the first ones out there on boots on the ground to make a city run. So thank you. Thank you for all you do for our community. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Time for photo ops. All right. Closer.
Okay, then.
Next.
Mayor, Lisa's going to do both of them right now.
Okay.
Can I accept both of them at the same time?
Well, according to City Clerk, that we are going to do both at the same time. Proclamation to National Police Week, please come. And also proclamation to Mental Health Awareness Month. Again, thanks for for what you do for us, and congratulations.
Sure. I just want to thank the council for their support of the police department. All of you are very supportive of us. Little things like this do matter to our personnel in a time of hate and a lot of it out there, and the things our officers have to see daily. It's nice to get recognized now and then. Our personnel really do mean the best for everyone and are put in just difficult situations that are required to perform perfectly in every single time. So really appreciate this, and I would like to make one more note that this is one of the few times that the police department gets recognition over the fire department. So thank you.
Talking about the fire department, I was participated into the training that they have last weekend on Saturday at OCFA. I was there for 3 hours training, doing everything that the firefighter did. But I know that it's just a small scale. But it was great to be there. All right, thank you again. All right.
So Westminster PD, we just want to say thank you so much for all you guys do. I know that you guys are understaffed, but you guys are working so hard overtime. So I hope your policemen and women understand we appreciate all you guys do. And I know that it takes great men and women like you guys running every day into the situation, into the chaos. And you guys risk your life and your reputation to just be in there to keep us safe in the city here. So we just want to say thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. We can get back. Well, there might be a surprise for some of you tonight that you saw that there are the seat arrangement is differently than before. It's due to request of Councilmember West, and I want to, with privilege as a mayor, I can reassign. I accept her request. I accept her request, and then I want to thank Vice Mayor Ho to agree to switch her seat. Even though she's a vice mayor, she's supposed to sit right here next to me so that she can continue, she can help me with the meeting. But then she is okay to take one for the team. So thank you very much, Vice Mayor Ho. All right, next is oral communication for agenda item only. Please help me to do my job. This is the time for oral communication for agenda item only. And I will stop you if you are talking out of the non-agenda items. When you come and speak, would you please go ahead and identify the item that you want to speak about? At this time, I would like to ask our city clerk to go ahead and read the instruction into the record, please.
Thank you, Mayor. This is the time of the meeting that members of the public may address the City Council regarding any items on the agenda except public hearing items. Members of the public wishing to address public hearing items shall do so at the time of the public hearing. Unless otherwise extended by a majority vote of the City Council, comments shall be limited to 3 minutes per speaker. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council chambers and submit the card to the City Clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and city of residence for the record. Our first speaker is Jody Boyd.
Thank you. My name is Jody Boyd, and I am a 15-year resident of Westminster and District 1. And I'm not here today to criticize, condemn, or complain. That's the gal that left a few years ago. I am here to talk to you today about our warrant register and also weed abatement from the agenda. I've taken a good look at the warrant register, and I am abundantly clear where this money is coming from now that we're close to the end of the fiscal year. We're now spending the money that we took out of our reserves last year to come up with our current fiscal year budget. I also patiently sat through our earlier presentation as we're beginning to talk about our budget for our next fiscal year. And I was very disappointed to see that once again, we're looking at a shortfall and taking money out of reserves. This cannot happen for another fiscal year. Look at the burn rate on the chart. It's proposed that we could potentially take over $11 million over what? The next 5 years? That's the taxpayers' money. We have been making the same mistake year after year, and it has to stop. The people elected each one of you to represent your districts as well as all of the people of Westminster and to solve problems. This is the very big problem that you will solve this year. I also noted the amount of the shortfalls for each fiscal year. It's not a lot. 3.1 million, 2.1 million. Guess what? How many licensed legal cannabis dispensary companies have stood before you with proposals that would bring in those amounts of money? Just from one of them. Imagine if we had a handful. We must begin the conversation. It's not going to be easy, but we have to talk about it. Respected Council Member West, as my representative in District 1, I am asking you, and I will help you, to put an item on the agenda to get this conversation started. At the end of the day, thank you. I'll save weed abatement, the other weed, for later.
Your time is up.
Our next speaker is Tammy Hamill.
Hello, Tammy Hamill, Westminster resident, District 1. First, I agree about the cannabis shops. That at least needs to be a conversation, even if some people don't personally believe in it. If it's going to bring revenue into the city and be a positive thing, then it at least needs to be discussed. The thing I want to talk about is 5.5, the WAGS contract. I do understand that there's budget issues, but I also have seen a lot of wasteful budget stuff going on with lengthy meetings, special meetings called that didn't need to be called. Many meetings, I can't even count how many meetings, about flags. I would so much rather see that money going to an animal shelter that we need in this city. I actually nominated WAGs for Small Business of the Year because of all the positive things that they do for this city. They have programs for kids, they have programs for adults to go volunteer, they provide jobs, they return stray animals to their homes. There's really nothing but positive things that they do for this city. And I would just hope that this would be a priority to continue that contract with them, because it's not only Westminster, it's also Stanton. If they leave this city, what's going to happen with all those animals? What's going to happen to the programs that the kids love to do? We need to keep them in the city. So if there's other things that need to be cut, meetings need to be cut, maybe put council member comments to 3 minutes. That would cut a lot of time from meetings since we only have 3 minutes. Things like that can be done, but we need to keep WAGs in our city for all of those reasons. So I hope you vote yes to continue that contract.
Our next speaker is Devorah Mariscal.
Good evening, Devorah Mariscal. I agree with Jody Boyd. So on 3.1 and also 3.4, as we see more and more businesses leaving the city, Sam Ash is the most current one that will be leaving. We've been buying music equipment from there for years because my husband's a professional musician. We have got to find ways to bring business into the city instead of scaring them off. And then we also need to do something to keep WAGs going. I have volunteered there. I've taken in, bottle kittens. We've adopted from there both cats and my current dog, who happens to love the police chief. Poppy loves you. We need to keep them here for the same exact reason that Tammy just talked about. I've volunteered there. We've had fundraisers there. If we're going to spend money any place, it needs to be there. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Robert Harrison.
Robert Harrison. I'm talking on agenda 7.1. Changes have been made. That's the Vietnam War Memorial kiosk in Sid Goldstein Freedom Park, the map. The map has been being worked on for probably well over 10 years, being made personally, authored by and created by Lieutenant Colonel Craig Mandeville. Lam Nguyen, myself, other people, where we have been vetting it for a long, long time, a number of years. Parks and Recreation approved it last year with some grammatical corrections to be made last year, and they were made. This year, the city staff worked hard and made some more corrections, and they have been made. For years and months, the map was presented to American Vietnam veterans and South Vietnamese veterans on the first Sunday of every month. They read it, they looked at it, we wrote it down. We want what is best for the city of Westminster, for America and the Vietnamese people. The map has been on the table with Margie Rice, Mayor Tree Ta. At the very last minute, February 28th, I was not here, fractured my skull. Some different presentations and independent creative ideas were provided that they could have been pushed then and we'd be done already. Right, justify. One of the things was the names of the battles. On the right side, the major battle names, locations are chronologically listed, and that had gone down in history with that name well known to the American Vietnam veterans as well as the South Vietnamese counterparts, vetted by both sides. Names of the locations and battles were presented on the actual map itself from the Pentagon. We need to get going and to honor those who fought for freedom for the Vietnamese people, to ensure the sacrifices for the Vietnamese, allies, Americans, and servicemen and women will never be forgotten. To symbolize the lasting relationship between the Vietnamese Americans and our nation. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Terry Raines.
Congratulations, WPD and Public Works staff, on your recognition tonight. Item 1, I still question paying $72,000 to completely rebuild a 3-year-old police vehicle after a serious accident, regardless of insurance, due to safety concerns. Item 3.1. Contrast that to buying 2 brand new grant-funded police vehicles for $75,000 each. Item 5.2. Item 3.4, I support the annexation of the unincorporated islands, knowing the largest island will have to go before the voters to approve. Under item 2, why isn't the status report of the branded cities billboard projects included? Enforcement of business licenses is generating revenue. If only Councilwoman West would become compliant too. Why isn't cannabis mentioned? Last we heard, the city was going to do a community survey, but the council majority seems completely closed off to the idea of generating at least $1 to $2 million annual revenue by allowing dispensaries. Item 5.1, why does it take 2 months for this council to appoint replacement members to the foundation, hindering the board's progress? Appointing members that don't really want to serve is unacceptable. The foundation needs to amend their poorly written bylaws, thank you, Christian, and become truly autonomous, removing the city council's involvement entirely from the organization, allowing them to fill their own vacancies, etc. Item 5.4, my birthday is July 14th, and on July 10th, one of the council meetings dates, I have tickets to see the Rolling Stones, so I'm good with that one. Item 5.5, I suspect some on this council have no clue what a great asset WAGS is to our community. Look around the county. You won't find a better animal control shelter vendor, not to mention the many positive ways that WAGS gives back to this community. Approve this amendment or the backlash will be swift and fierce. Item 5.6, why aren't the SWOT analysis weaknesses and threats included in the staff report, only accomplishments? I hope the matrix is updated regularly. Item 6.1, catching up with technology, finally, but as a reminder, and unredacted copies of FPPC filings must be provided upon request. Item 7.1, I want to thank and commemorate the late Craig Mandeville and veteran Bob Harrison for all of their hard work on this item. It's great to see it finally going in. Items 2 and 8, oral communications. Mayor Nguyen, the stark contrast of how Vice Mayor Ho ran the meeting when you were absent versus when you run them is astounding. You missed her AB 123 report from the City Leaders Summit about how other mayors and councils do not argue with or attempt to intimidate members of the public from the dais like you and your 2 cohorts do. New rule. If someone wants to leave the dais, they must be recognized by the mayor to request permission and state the reason for their leaving and how long they expect to be gone. Other legislative bodies have this rule, and it's a good one. I don't know what the appropriate time is to speak on the walked-on closed session agenda item, but I guess I'll do it now. I don't know what it is, but I can't help but connect the dots that after you came out of closed session, you're adding a case of potential litigation. And I can only imagine what that might be. But I hope, well, we'll learn more later. Thank you.
Mayor, I have no further speaker cards.
All right, thank you very much. Next is consent calendar. All matters listed under the consent calendars are considered routine and may be approved by a single motion, followed by a roll call vote. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless members of the City Council or staff request that specific items be removed from the consent calendar for separate action or discussion. I would like to entertain if there is a motion to approve, or if there is any item that need to be pulled.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All right, we have motion and second on the floor to approve the entire consent calendar.
Thank you, Mayor. I have a motion made by Councilmember Monzo, seconded by Vice Mayor Ho. This is to approve the consent calendar as presented. I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Councilwoman Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Thank you. Next is the public hearings. Anyone wishing to speak on an open public hearing may speak in person. Speakers during public hearing comments will each have 3 minutes to speak on each public hearing item, which we have only one today. Any person wishing to address the City Council in person should complete a green speaker slip that is provided at the entrance to the council's chambers and submit the card to the city clerk. When your name is called, please step to the podium at that time and state your name and the city of residence, optional, for the record. So, Madam Clerk, go ahead and call. Wait, hold on for a minute. I would like to ask for a staff report, please.
Thank you, Mayor. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. This is the public hearing for the weed abatement program for spring 2024. According to the California Government Code, Public Works Department manage the weed and debris abatement from the vacant property in the city. We implement the program twice a year in spring and fall. The other quarters, summer and winter, Public Works staff send out the remind letters to the vacant property owners. Currently, we have 20 vacant lots on the list. On March 5th, staff sent out a reminding letters to these property owners, reminding them to clean their lots prior to the inspection on April 12th. So out of 20 vacant property, there was 5 property not clean at the time of the inspection. So staff did another inspection earlier this week and submitted late communications to update the resolution. So I'm happy to report that as of today, all property has been in compliance with the requirement. So that concludes my staff report. I'm available to answer any question.
All right. Next is comment or presentation from the applicant, and I assume that that's the city also. So we can move on to mayor and city council question for staff. Any of you have any questions?
Just thank you, Mayor. I just have a comment, and then maybe this is something that for a future agenda is if I understand, you do have a list of the addresses that are repeat violators, repeat offenders. Is that correct?
A list of
addresses that are continuously in violation of this code.
Well, we do have the list of vacant property that's on the list for a long time. Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, it's probably about 10 properties. Every single time we do the weed abatement program, we send out letters, and they do actually comply, whether before the inspection that we specify in the letter, or they will meet the deadline when we send out the second letter.
And some of those are repeat, that they don't comply. Are they repeat offenders?
They comply at the end, prior to our deadline.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
Thank
Next. You. Any comments from anyone? All right. If not, we can move to public comments. City Clerk, do we have anybody sign up for this?
I do, Mayor. Terry Rains.
Good evening. Some of these comments you've heard me present at previous weed abatement public hearings. Again, why are only vacant properties targeted under this program when in fact the relative government code and city ordinance both do not limit this program to just vacant lots? There are numerous properties in our city both vacant and occupied with serious weed and rubbish issues as defined under Chapter 13, Article 2 of the California Government Code, commencing with Section 39560, that never gets cited. It seems as though staff just revisits the same previously targeted vacant lots over and over, never looking anywhere else. Why not present to the council the full list of notice properties for reference in the staff report, even though the properties that were cleaned up are not a formal part of the public hearing? Former Councilman Sergio Contreras asked back in 2019 for the formal weed abatement process to be done 4 times a year versus twice. Staff's response was it would be too much work to undergo the formal process more than twice a year, but they said they would continue to use code enforcement and the community preservation unit to address these issues on a more regular basis, but that plan is not working. Some areas in the city seem to be targeted frequently while others are completely ignored. The number of unkempt properties in the city continues to grow, creating extreme blight and potential safety hazards, lowering our property values and reducing pride of ownership in our city. Let's all put in a concentrated effort to clean up our city and not just on Earth Day. Many cities hold pride and beautification events throughout the year where volunteers, along with support from the city, come together to clean up their city. Some are part of the Unite for Cities initiative, which brings together businesses, residents, schools, service groups, and the faith community to improve their cities. I realize these comments are broad in nature, not specific to any properties listed on the agenda report, but I'm trying to be a part of the solution by offering input and ideas on ways we can improve our city related to this item. I do question the legality or appropriateness of the late communications memo. I guess there's 2 of them, apparently, removing 4 of the 5 initially, I guess all 5 now, listed on Exhibit A in with the resolution. One of these properties belongs to Vice Mayor Ho, who did assure me that her property had already been cleaned up, and that's probably the case with the other 3 or 4 too. But this was a legally noticed public hearing. Staff should not have revised the resolution behind closed doors. Instead, staff should have presented the revisions orally during the staff report, and then council could formally accept and incorporate the changes into the document prior to commencing the public hearing. One of the properties removed belongs, I already said that, sorry. So it's basically a procedural thing. I understand that, the properties did end up cleaning up, and you just went out and did a more recent inspection. But when you notice a public hearing and people go and read the documents related to that public hearing, they're going to come prepared to speak on that accordingly. And while I'm glad that it's down to, I guess, 0, because I didn't catch the second late communications meeting memo, it's great news. I just don't think it's good to do it the way it was done. I would prefer that it be done in public and that the council have that information before we commence the public hearing out loud publicly. Thank you.
I have no further speakers.
Thank you very much. Next is I would like to call for mayors and council member discussion and take action for this. For that, I will move to approve as recommended.
I'll second it, but I have a question, Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, I want to echo on comments from Ms. Raines. And this is one of the, and I've made mention to this to, and I've reported a lot of these through the app, multiple commercial properties with the repeat offenders as far as lack of maintenance, overgrown vegetation, and it's just a continuous issue. It's like, what is really being done about that? It's the same properties, same corridors over and over again. It just never gets fixed. What are we doing?
Thank you, Councilman Manzo. I think for those properties, we can report it to CPU, which myself, actually driving around and see those property, I reported to CPU as well. I actually emailed CPU twice this week, and also code enforcement, and then Vicky cleared out who's going to be taking care of that. So CPU is the one who do, and they have the enforcement authority. They can send out letters with fines. With us, we don't have that authority.
Yeah. No, thank you for answering that question. I know this is not your department, so thank you for answering that question. This is more a question for city manager. And so we need to keep an eye on that, make sure that we stay on top of that. So that's what I got. Thank you.
All right, we have motion and second on the floor.
I have a motion made by Mayor Nguyen, a second made by Councilmember Monzo. This is to overrule any objections received at the subject public hearing for the abatement of the weeds and adopt a resolution entitled, "A Resolution of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Westminster, California, determining and declaring that certain weeds are growing upon certain streets, sidewalks, parkways, and private property in the City of Westminster, and rubbish and refuse have been deposited upon sidewalks, parkways, and private property in the city, and that the same are a public nuisance, ordering and directing the city manager to have said weeds destroyed and to have rubbish and refuse removed as required by law." I'll go to call roll. Councilwoman Fan West.
Fan West, yes.
Councilmember Monzo.
Yes.
Councilmember Nguyen.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Ho.
Yes.
And Mayor Nguyen.
Yes.
Motion carried 5-0.
Next is public hearing item 4.2, adoption of final fiscal year for 2024-2025 annual action plan for community development, block grant and home investment partnership act of program federal funds. May I ask for a staff report, please?
Could you please stand up? Who's here for the sober living? We have quite a few members here for this topic. As you know, the Sober Living House is at 142222 Enfield Circle. Our neighborhood is a prestige neighborhood, and we have take pride in our neighborhood. I'll put it down, Laura. Sorry. Thank you. Okay. Last meeting I was here, I addressed this issue, and we came up with a petition. The petitions that we had were 225 signatures on that petition. Today, I'm bringing up another petition with 343 signatures, and we have increased it, and I'd like to give this information to the clerk so that she has that as documentation. We are very concerned with this being on Enfield Circle. We have 20-some children along with senior citizens on our street on Enfield Circle. Along with sober living comes crime, and that's what we're concerned with. I addressed it last time with the city manager, and she said she was going to do a study session. And I want to make sure that that is followed up because I want to get this on the agenda as I addressed it last week. And as I was shot down because they said it had to be a study session in order for it to get onto the agenda. So that's pretty much all of us that are here today. We're concerned with this sober living that's on Enfield Circle, and we just don't want it to happen. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Devora Mariscal.
Good evening, Devora Mariscal. I wanted to bring up a couple of things, and I apologize if this got resolved and I don't remember. I know a couple of meetings ago we had some issues with mobile homes parking, taking up streets over off of Garden Grove Boulevard, and allegedly those are rental RVs. If they are, they need to be stored. Parking is a huge issue. I live behind the Honda dealer, and we do have disabled cars that sadly I've had to call the police department multiple times to get them moved. One in particular has moved, but it's still disabled, so it'll just be moved again. So that's one thing. The next thing I'd like to address, Councilmember Manzo, I am so sorry for what you have been put through this last week from our last meeting on Friday. Absolutely, to quote someone, despicable behavior from Councilmember West, who is not even here right now. I apologize to the police department for the amount of time that they had to take to resolve that issue, but no crime was committed, and we support you. We just want to let you know that. Charlie's not here, so Councilmember Ho, I'm going to address this to you. there needs to not be interruption from Councilwoman West when, when residents are trying to speak. So if you could work with the mayor, if that is happening, turn the mic off. We spend our time here too. It's disrespectful. It's just not appropriate. So thank you.
Our next speaker is Mike Reingold.
Good evening. My name is Mike Ringgold. I live in 5321 Shrewsbury in Westminster. It's part of the same track that Diane spoke about with the sober living house. I've got my 3-year-old son with me tonight. Part of the representation of that community, on that street alone, there's 25 plus children. I have firsthand secondhand familiarity. My brother was in a sober living house in Washington, D.C., and it's not a good situation for a community like ours. I'm 100% about rehabilitation, second chances. I volunteer at a nonprofit in Santa Ana. I see a lot of people that Project Kinship helps get off the street, coming out of the city jail, trying to change their lives, but I also see recidivism. When people are in recovery, relapse is part of that. It's almost a given. It's understood that people are going to fail in their attempt at sobriety. I don't want that failure in my neighborhood. The crime that it's going to bring, the associates that they have. My brother was in a house with a man who slept with a knife under his bed and snuck out the window to get crack daily. This is something he lived with. So I know what it can be. I've also known people that are success stories. My brother's one of them. He's been clean and sober for over 5 years. My wife has a cousin who's been clean and sober for over a decade. These men are thriving in their lives now because they had an opportunity to be in a sober living house. So I know that they're an awesome thing. We also know that they bring things with them, associates. Someone, give me one moment. Essentially, people that are addicted to drugs have associates that are also addicts or dealers. And a lot of times they're drawn into those places because these people that are going to be in sober living homes aren't confined to the house. Or if they are confined, they're not on ankle monitors, they're not supervised by the police or the Department of Corrections. This is a community that, this is just a house. So it has a back door, it has windows, and they can sneak out, go to the park where our children are, and meet somebody to get more drugs because they've relapsed. So we just want to bring these things to you, Diane. You were awesome with your comments. Again, there's hundreds of people that have spoken against this. We appreciate your consideration. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Danny Meza.
Good evening, City Council. Thank you for taking the time to hear me out. I want to say I'm sorry for what Councilman Carlos Manzo had to go through with the lies from Amy Fan West, falsifying a police report. She should be brought up on charges. It's just ridiculous that somebody who serves our community, he doesn't even represent my district, and he's helped me out numerous times, and I appreciate you for that. I don't get why or what she has over this city council that she gets away with murder. You guys just let her get away with stuff, and it happens over and over and over again, and people are getting sick of it. People are opening up their eyes about it. She's renting RVs out online, storing them on Garden Grove Boulevard, Dorothy Lane, Melanie Lane, Lee Drive, Barney Lane, and she just moves them every 24 hours. She has no business in the next city ordinance when she's talking about for RVs parking. Right now it's 24 hours. You guys should adopt an ordinance like Garden Grove, where you have to register your RV, and that's it. You either park it in your driveway or you move it every 24 hours when it's registered. Anybody else can just get towed. Why is she getting away with it over and over and over again? We've pulled the public records. She keeps doing it. Fan West, where are you? Fan West, where are you? She's never here to hear the people out. We're getting mad. It's affecting our neighborhood. We have people who are just parking there, and we don't know what they're doing. Next come the tents. Next come our homeless people. I know for a fact people are back there drinking on Dorothy Lane, doing drugs. Yet she parks her RVs, and other vehicles come, and it creates the blight. I know she's in her gated community, her trailer park, and, she doesn't care. It's not affecting her directly. It's affecting my neighborhood, the residents of the city, and we're sick of it. It's affecting my daughter. We can't even go on a bike ride down there without thinking, what are they going to see? I've seen people having sex in cars back there. It's gotten better because of the City app, and I thank you for the City app because it's really made a difference. But this RV thing needs to be nipped in the bud. Look at places like Venice Beach. They had so many RVs lining the streets, and what happens? It brings blight, it brings drugs, prostitution, trash. So why is she allowed to do this? We've already proven that she rents them out on Outdoorsy. She moves them around every 24 hours. It's just not fair to the residents that store them where they need to go. And I would like to ask her to her face, Fan West Eye, where are you? Do you rent them out? She's going to say no, of course. I reported one today on Garden Grove Boulevard. They're too wide to be on the street. She's creating blight in the district she's supposed to be helping. Businesses are going, and she's doing nothing about it. Where is she? Fan West, where are you?
Our next speaker is Jason Doan.
Hi, this is a very important issue. I think a couple months ago I was at the, first of all, my name is Jason Doe, and I live over at 14067 Tiffany Drive, Westminster, California, 92683. And so a couple months ago I was here and present myself about, the Cold War. It was the first Indochina War where the Haiphong incident happened between the France and, the northern military Viet Minh. This is extremely important incident that happened, and this is the beginning of the dismantling of our colonization of Vietnam, or also called Indochina. So the thing was that there was a contraband that I mentioned that went from China to Haiphong, and then we were in the south, so we probably don't know, but the French control the south, and also they have allowed the north to have partial autonomy. So therefore, there was a contraband ship from China coming over, and then all of a sudden, the battle broke out. That's how the first Indochina War started. Now, if you remember in history, Charlie, that 1945 was the end of the World War II, and then 1946 was the beginning of the first Indochina War, right? So we must think that there's a reason why it happened. So it's between Ho Chi Minh and Giap Vo, right at the beginning, Haiphong. So once that happened, the French, fought the Viet Minh, and then for 9 years, from 1939, from 1946 to 1954, they fought it until the Battle of Dien Bien Phu. So the last Battle of Dien Bien Phu is where they won the north. Dien Bien Phu is in the north. So obviously they celebrate the winning against the French. So 1954 was the end of the first Indochina War, and then the beginning of the second Indochina War It's also called the Cold War. Okay, so when 1954, that's when American troops come in, and you have Diem was appointed as the president of the South Vietnamese at the time, and then also John F. Kennedy was the president at the time. So we're supposed to have the popular election between the North and the South, and we want to reunify both the North and the South as a democratic nation, not a communist. If I'm not right, then somebody have to fix me, but I'm pretty sure that was the reason. But anyway.
Thank you. Your time is up. Thank you.
Because of that, we think the North is communist. So they.
Sir, your time is up. Please, 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 your time is up. Next. Thank you.
Here is Tammy Hamill.
Hello, Tammy Hamill, Westminster resident. Probably goes without saying, she's still gone. She missed 3 votes. She's gone again for oral communications because she can't take it. She does not have the temperament, the intelligence to be a council member. She only wants to be here for her own self-serving agenda. And for her to talk about the code of conduct kind of blew my mind. I mean, I actually looked it up this week, the City of Westminster's Code of Conduct. I did not find one line in there that she has not violated. I highlighted them, every single one of them. She's violated every single thing in the Code of Conduct. I'm surprised she even knew you had one. Did she sign it? I mean, did she read it? I don't think she understood it, because everything she does in these meetings and online on her social media is a violation of that Code of Conduct. Last Friday was the end-all be-all of the Amy Show, which is what she's turning this into. That's what she wants it to be. She wants the attention, she wants the credit, she's doing nothing useful. Now she's slandering other council members, dangerously slandering them. Not only has she called residents, call me pedos, which I asked her about that proof that I sent her and she called me crazy. She was talking to 2 other people about getting credit for the Jane Fonda issue. I asked her if that's what that was about. She said I was a stalker. This is what she does. This is what we see up here. It gets worse outside. I can't even imagine what goes on behind closed doors with city staff. I can't imagine what they have to deal with. If this is what we see in public from her, she needs to be censured. We might have to explain it to her that it's not censored, censured. Something has got to be done about her. She's the unfortunate representative of my district. She won't even have another meeting with me. The first meeting I had with her, 7 minutes, because she couldn't take it. I was asking her about things that she posted online, answering for them, taking accountability. She didn't even know what's going on in Indian Village. I don't live in Indian Village. She asked me that 3 times. She has no business being on this council. She does nothing. She's getting dangerously close to getting people hurt with the things that she puts online, the things that she agrees with and laughs at that other people put online. Is it going to take someone getting hurt because of her actions for you to do something? Or Chris, what is it going to take for you to say something, to really do something about what she's doing? Is it going to take someone getting hurt? Because I think, honestly, that's what she wants. She wants to be in the news, and she wants to be on her social media.
Just time's up. Thank you.
Yeah.
Our next speaker is John Gentile.
Hello, council members, city staff. Before coming to this meeting today, I had one of my customers ask me if I was going into the comedy show today, referring to the city council meeting. Out of respect for the city, I just turned and walked away. I can understand the humor in what he said, but I have lived in the city for 54 years, and what I see now is the demise of our once all-American city. Instead of talking about our underpaid police and fire department, crime, homelessness, and business closures, we gather here to support Carlos Monzo. Carlos, on the behalf of the overwhelming voters of District 1, we stand by you and support all that you have done for our city. I will end by saying something I swore I would never say. To the 21 voters who chose to sit at home and not vote, this is what happens. God bless our city's future.
Our next speaker is Gigi.
Gigi.
Kính thưa ông thị trưởng và các nghị viên, tôi tên là Gigi. Ngày hôm nay tôi đến đây để tôi nói chuyện với bà Nghị Amy. Miệng bà thì lúc nào cũng nói về cộng đồng không à. Mà thật sự bà chỉ làm vì mình muốn để lấy điểm thôi. Để sửa soạn ra đi tranh cử chứ gì. Phải không bà? Bà qua Mỹ đã gần 40 năm rồi, đúng không? Bà đã làm được cái gì cho cộng đồng đây? Bao nhiêu năm qua, bây giờ bà mới vào thành phố có bao nhiêu mà sau bao nhiêu lần bà tranh cử thua mà bà lại muốn trở thành một ngôi sao sáng chói một cách nhanh chóng. Bà đi giành điểm để cho buổi họp thứ 6 vừa qua. Bà hạch hỏi nhân viên thành phố tại sao không có tên bà trong cái bản báo cáo. Bà có 3 người nghị viên đồng ý cho buổi họp khẩn không? Bà gọi cho bà phó thị trưởng Kimberly mà bà ta cũng chưa đồng ý nữa. Mà nếu có 3 người đồng ý thì tên của bà cũng vẫn không có trong bản báo cáo. Vì bà phó thị trưởng Kimberly đưa nghị trình đó ra với ông thị trưởng rồi bà. Thật là tội nghiệp cho bà. Vì không có kinh nghiệm sinh hoạt trong cộng đồng, bà đi theo một nhóm người được gọi là cố vấn nhưng không có chút tự tin nào trong cộng đồng hết. Trên thực tế, bà giao du với nhóm người thích gây rối. Rồi những người này dẫn bà đi sai đi hướng. Và lần này bà đã đi quá xa rồi bà. Bà đã bịa ra những câu chuyện kêu gào về những vấn đề nhỏ nhặt để biến thành những cáo buộc lớn, để phải lôi kéo cảnh sát vào. Đất nước này có luật pháp và trật tự mà. Chỉ vì bà la hét và bị lạm dụng, bắt nạt và quấy rối, điều đó không có nghĩa là thật sự bà bị lạm dụng. Bắt nạt và quấy rối, không phải ai cũng tin bà và tất cả mọi người đều vô tội cho đến khi được chứng minh là có tội. Tôi hy vọng sự thật sẽ được phơi bày. Bà xứng đáng với danh hiệu nữ hoàng nói láo và là kẻ gây rối cho hội đồng thành phố này. Hãy trưởng thành và hành động và có trách nhiệm hơn đi. Bà đúng là một sự xấu hổ cho cộng đồng người Việt. Bà thường xuyên nói láo, nói thêm, dựng chuyện. Bà không sợ bị trời trồng sao? Và bị á khẩu sao? Bà cứ dây tội ác khẩu đi bà. Trân trọng kính chào. Xin cảm ơn. Good evening, Mayor Nguyen and council members. My name is Gigi Bo, and I come here today to talk to Councilwoman Amy. You always claim you are about serving the community, but in fact, you only do it for yourself and want to get credit. For what? To prepare to run for the next election? You've been in the country for nearly 40 years, isn't it? What have you done for the community over 40 years? You barely won the last council election after so many lost elections, and you want to become a bright, shining star so quickly? You want to claim credit for last Friday's special meeting? You asked city staff why your name was not included in the report? Do you have 3 council members who agree to call a special meeting? You called Vice Mayor Kimberly, and she didn't agree. And even if council members agree, your name will not be on the report because Vice Mayor Kimberly Ho brought up the agenda item and the mayor seconded it. Unfortunately for you, you hang out with this group of so-called advisors who don't have the credibility in the community. In fact, you hang out with a bunch of troublemakers who lead you in the wrong direction, and this time you went too far. You made up stories and cried wolf about small matters to turn into major accusations that involve the police. This country has law and order. Just because because you scream abuse, bullying, and harassment doesn't mean that you are actually abused, bullied, and harassed. Not everyone believes you, and everyone is innocent until proven guilty. I do hope the truth will come out, and it has. You deserve the title drama queen and troublemaker for this council and this city. Grow up and act responsibly. You are an embarrassment to the Vietnamese community. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Kai Dao.
Good evening, everyone. Well, I wish we would have more time to discuss about this issue. I'm not here to defend you or to denounce you, Council Member Carlos Manzo. I'm here to speak to the so-called mayor regarding decorum, how he runs the city's meeting. As many times before, I guess people, some even a YouTuber criticized me and then blamed me. He said probably because I came up here or come up here often and calling him stupid, that gave reason for the mainstream media to write article about our city and labeling Westminster as a joke, laughing stock, high school bickering, and it's been a shame for us all. A circuit that, and in Vietnamese it's called like a fish market. The reason being, I wish you guys would, Mr. City's Attorney, no pun intended, I meant no offense, no disrespect, but I hope that you would educate him, sit them all down to explain the law to them, so that, in the future, if someone filed a complaint, they wouldn't have to file a complaint against your firm or yourself for not educate them about their role. Like I said, I don't know if he's stupid or he just have to do it to distract people that criticize them. But being a referee, before you blow the whistle, you have to know the rules. And you have to be just and fair. Doesn't mean that just because you have the gravel and you just keep pounding it, I said like a monkey in soup. Because respect has to be earned. You didn't earn my respect. I shouldn't call you stupid or barbaric. You're un-American. You're supposed to represent us, American citizens, an American city. Act like an American.
Our next speaker is Huey Donato.
Chào ông thị trưởng và các nghị viên. Bữa nay tôi lên đây để nói chuyện với bà Amy. Chắc bà nhớ tôi ha? Có nhớ không? Chắc là nhớ hay là quên rồi? Bà đi ra bên ngoài, bà họp báo. Bà đưa những tin tức từ những buổi họp của thành phố kín. Bà đem ra những cái gì mà kín của City mới họp, bà đưa ra như vậy, bà có làm đúng không? Bà ngồi trên cái ghế đó, bà phải biết cái luật, đúng không? Bà nói xấu những
Please talk into the
member.
microphone.
Bà nói xấu những cái member ở trong này, trong city. Tôi thấy những hành động cư xử của bà trong những buổi họp thật là bất lịch sự. Chuyên môn giành nói và nói ác tiếng người khác. Tôi nhớ có một buổi họp mà ông thị trưởng vắng mặt và ông phó thị trưởng Nam Quang điều khiển. Bà đã ngang nhiên chửi những người lên tiếng phản đối bà, mặc cho ông Nam Quang không cho nói. Bà đâu có nể ai đâu. Bà có biết bà là cái gì? Ông thị trưởng đã một vài lần cấm không cho bà nói vì bà lì lợm, nói ác tiếng người khác, mặc cho ông thị trưởng gõ búa. Rồi bà nói là người ta bịt miệng bà. Đó là tư cách của một nghị viên đó sao? Mà bây giờ bà chỉ trích ông nghị viên Menzo là đừng bịa đặt chuyện và nói láo. Có bằng chứng đàng hoàng. Cảm ơn tất cả mọi người. I got a seat for you.
Stop the clock.
Sorry, my fault. Okay, Councilwoman West, you go on YouTube and talk about info from closed session meetings. You are breaking the law. Do you know that? You spoke badly about other council members while I found your behavior in council meetings to be impolite. I remembered a meeting when the mayor was absent and Vice Mayor Nam Kwan Wen then conducted the meeting. You blatantly cursed those residents who spoke against you. Even Nam Kwan couldn't control you. You always demand respect, but you don't respect anyone else, including the mayor. Now you accuse Councilmember Manzo of harassing you. You should not cry wolf, and you should not lie.
Our next speaker is Nat Lynn.
Nat Lynn.
Thưa Hội đồng thành phố, tôi là Nhật Linh ở địa hạt 3 Westminster. Sau cái cuộc họp của Hội đồng thành phố ngày 3 tháng 5 vừa rồi, tôi rất là phẫn uất khi mà bà nghị Amy Phan West, bà bắt tay với ông Ngô Kỷ là một người chuyên bịa chuyện, phá rối cộng đồng và cái đám YouTuber thân cộng. Bà tổ chức vài cuộc, bà gọi là họp báo, nhưng mà tôi cho rằng cái đó không phải là họp báo, bởi vì những người đó không có phải là những người có trình độ để làm truyền thông. Bà tố cáo sai sự thật về ông Menzo. Bà muốn gây tiếng xấu cho ông Menzo ở trong cộng đồng người Việt Nam. Bởi vì tháng 11 này là ông Menzo với bà Phó Thị trưởng Kim Lộ sẽ ứng cử trở lại, theo tôi biết. Bà muốn bôi nhọ và bà kêu gọi những cái người ở trong cộng đồng này, có ai muốn ứng cử ở địa hạt 2, địa hạt 3 liên lạc với bà sẽ support. Bà với ông Ngô Kỷ support. Bà có ý đồ rất là tồi tệ và độc ác. Tôi xem đi xem lại cái clip, ông Menzo rất là đứng đắn đàng hoàng, nhưng mà bà quá đáng. Và tôi cho rằng cái việc mà bà Phó Thị trưởng Kim Ly Hồ và ông Thị trưởng, hai người đưa ra cái đầm đó rất là đúng với quy chế của Hội đồng thành phố. Không có lý do gì bà đòi tên bà vô. Vì bà muốn nhanh nhưng mà bà đi sai quy trình, sai quy chế của cái Hội đồng thành phố này. Mà bà đi ra la làng, bà nói cả cái hội đồng này là hãm hại bà. Và bà focus vô ông Menzo. Tôi cho đó là hành động độc ác. Thêm một điều nữa, chính vì cái cuộc họp đó, bà đòi hỏi cái văn bản của thành phố là phải có cái chữ despicable, là khinh bỉ cái hội đồng giám sát của LA. Mà một cái văn bản của một hội đồng thành phố không thể nào dùng cái từ như vậy, mà cả hội đồng người ta đều không đồng ý. Bà vẫn nói là bà muốn go big or go home thì bà nên go home. Mà trong khi đó Ngày hôm qua bà có 1 phút để phát biểu ở trong hội đồng thành phố LA. Bà có dám nói từ đó không? Bà là một kẻ hèn nhát. Bà chỉ lừa bịp cộng đồng Việt Nam. Tại sao bà có 1 phút phát biểu trong cộng đồng LA bà không nói từ này? Cho nên tôi muốn nói điều này nè. Bà đừng có làm gây xáo trộn giữa cộng đồng các sắc dân trong thành phố Westminster. Bởi vì theo tôi biết, ông Menzo là người nghị viên duy nhất của cộng đồng người Mễ trong hội đồng thành phố này. Chính bà mới lôi kéo những người Việt Nam bôi nhọ Menzo. Bà coi chừng bà tạo nên rối loạn giữa các sắc dân trong thành phố. Xin mời. Yeah.
My name is Nat Lynn. I want to talk to Councilwoman West's actions from the special meeting last Friday. During the meeting, she kept repeatedly asking the council to change the language of the resolution to denounce the County of LA supervisor's action about Jane Fonda Day. You want to use the word despicable instead of inappropriate, which no one else in this council supported, which you call your mayor and other council members weak. What a joke. When yesterday you called into LA County Supervisor meeting, you called in and spoke for a minute. You didn't dare use the word despicable. You are just all talk and no action. You are a coward, and for even praising the LA supervisors, keep doing the good job. Your advisor, Mr. Noki, is a liar who likes to make up story and troublemaker with a loud mouth. I want to condemn your immoral, cruel, and ugly actions towards Council Member Manzo. The mayor and the other council members need to stop her deceitful and fabricated accusations towards everyone else in this council. You are a shameful and an embarrassment to this council and this city.
Thank you. Thank you.
Our final speaker is Terry Raines.
Despicable, immoral, contemptible, reprehensible, abhorrent, heinous, unscrupulous, repulsive, sadistic, deplorable, disrespectful, evil, narcissistic, moronic, worthless, pathological liar, nefarious, wretched, obtuse, all accurate descriptives of the character and actions of Amy Fan West. Penal Code 148.5, making a false police report. Civil Code 45, libel, a published false written statement damaging someone's reputation. Civil Code 46, slander, making a false spoken statement damaging a person's reputation. Penal Code 118, perjury, knowingly providing false testimony, all laws purportedly violated by Amy Fan West. Amy Fan West, aka the narcissistic twat waffle, filed a bullshit police report against Councilman Manzo last Friday, forcing our police department to conduct an investigation over the weekend. Per the police report, the investigation concluded finding no basis or evidence that Councilman Manzo committed any crime. Eyewitness accounts, including my own, and voluminous video and written evidence support that finding. But West didn't stop there. She held several press conferences in the Vietnamese media, continuing to lie and slander Councilman Manzo. Perhaps the PD needs to investigate Amy's criminal behavior against Councilman Manzo and City Manager Corden. Amy, you have called me a liar, thief, and bully from the dais. But look in the mirror, biatch. This full-blown narcissistic collapse of yours is truly pathetic. Lashing out at others and fabricating stories that you're a victim? Classic signs. Listen up, Amy. We are compiling voluminous, incriminating evidence against you. And you can mark my words. We will eventually take you down. You can bank on that. Council, this is effing serious. You can't just sit there and do nothing while this woman destroys each and every one of you and our city. You must stand up to the madness. It's time for this council and this community to come together, to take swift, formal, punitive action against this malignant cancer in our city, Amy Fan West. Censor Amy Fan West. Recall Amy Fan West. Censure Amy Fan West. Recall Amy Fan West. Censure Amy Fan West. Recall Amy Fan West. This is a plea to this community to wake up and this council. Thank you very much.
Mayor, I have no further speaker cards.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you all for coming out and voice your opinions. The next items is I'd like to close oral communication at this time. Next is comment from the City Council agency members. I first want to call for Council Member Amy Fan West.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you for everyone for coming. Thank you for our staff for working so hard. It is 8:30 p.m. already, and you know, I do hear some of your concerns, and you know, I understand that you know you guys have concern, but you guys have not looked. I feel like you guys coming out. I am the victim. You guys are, Carlos has people out to basically harass me.
Please.
And it's thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have the floor. Thank you. So, you know, the other thing that was sent to me today was that I want to bring this to the attention is that, let me read this out for you guys so you guys can see it.